to ignite scattered showers and thunderstorms through the afternoon, and because the atmosphere is so tropical, we may see a few downpours through today, which may lead to localized flooding.
Your local weather expert, WWL-TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan. This weekend marks the 40th anniversary of the crash of Pan Am Flight 759 in Kenner.
Blew out the windows in my house, and I could hear the people screaming on the plane.
I heard an explosion come outside.
Smoke everywhere. I could smell the fuel.
I came out and everything was on fire.
145 people on the plane and 8 people on the ground died. The airplane crashed during thunderstorm activity approximately 2 miles east of the airport. Right after departure, there are still several vacant lots where the aircraft came down. NOPD is investigating after a security guard shot an alleged car burglar in the CBD.
It happened around 4:30 a.m. Saturday on Drive between South Rampart Street and Loyola Avenue. New Orleans police say the guard saw a man breaking into cars. The guard drew his gun and told the man to stop. The police say the suspect did not comply and tried to pull out a gun from his waistband. That's when the guard then shot the suspect. He was taken to the hospital.
WWL-TV's Erica Ferrando. Gunfire early this morning in New Orleans. A shooting around 2 a.m. in the 3700 block of Tulane Avenue had a male sustaining what police call multiple gunshot wounds to his body. Another man was shot last night on South Peters Street, about a block from Pointers in the Warehouse District around 5:30 p.m. He sustained multiple gunshot wounds to his body. Here's Sean Ross with WWL Sport. Pre-order jersey sales skyrocketed when Whodats heard Tyrann Mathieu was headed home to the Saints. Though his number is still undecided, Honey Badger took to social media this weekend saying he was 5 because his grandmother lived in the 5th ward.
Now, thanks to Andy Dalton has that number.
The first glimpse of Pelicans' first-round draft pick Dyson Daniels was brief. Daniels sprained his right ankle
Early in the second quarter and did not game. Pels fall to Portland to start their NBA Summer League season. Trey Murphy led the team with 23 points. Pels Summer Squad back in action Monday night at 5 against Atlanta. Sean Ross, WWL Sports. And now your Garcia Roofing forecast on WWL.
Showers and thunderstorms will continue to develop along this front. It will move through the afternoon hours, and we may see isolated heavy rain, which could lead to some street flooding, so just be mindful of that because the atmosphere is just so tropical. And temperatures are expected to climb into the upper 80s and lower 90s this afternoon. And as we head through the work week, that same cool front will eventually stall out, meaning that the weather will remain pretty unsettled through the entire week. Rain chances will remain moderate to high daily, so don't put away that rain gear just yet. The good news about the rain is that it is going to keep our temperatures in check daily, with highs climbing into the middle to upper 80s. From your local weather expert forecast center, I'm WWL-TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
And I'm Dave Cohen, WWL First News.
From WWL, the news, talk, sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870, or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios in the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, good morning. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend warriors.
Good morning, this is Albert Nicaud. Hope things are going well for you this morning. A little technical difficulty patching Doug in. He may have to get on the cell phone and call in until we can get this resolved. But I hope y'all are having a good morning.
Hey, Albert?
Yes, Doug, you're on?
Oh, I'm on. You hear me?
I'm on. You hear me?
I can hear you now. There you go.
All right, we're back. Live and direct. Suburban Mandeville.
Got me in. Took a
couple of minutes. They had to cross the causeway. It took a little while. That's it.
Wow.
Yes. Well, good morning, Albert. Thanks for covering.
Good morning. I covered about 5 seconds, Doug. I think we're good.
There you go. Heck, listen, I guess we'll start out with sports. This is
What's new?
this is the first time I could remember that we're about 2 weeks before training camp, and the big talk has been about the basketball with the Pelicans, which is
Yep.
very, very, very interesting. A lot going on. You got Zion signed as an extension, and the Kevin Durant talk continue, and that's centering around Brandon Ingram. Because I think initially the in the discussion as the kids were being conducted, the inclination was they would want to hold on to Brandon Ingram and use some of the other players to match that $44 million salary. It seems like that the Nets would want BI. So and probably some draft picks and Herb Jones, which I don't. I think almost Herb Jones is untradeable, right? I mean, I wouldn't want to trade him right now. I think he's got intangible that every championship team would need, and he is as irreplaceable as a lot of the other players. A lot of different ways.
Listen, I know people might think crazy, but package up a deal to send Zion there, get KD and maybe one or two others. Let them try to build a team around Zion, who to me is still a question mark. When you are injured 2 seasons in a row, your final season at Duke, you had something going on with that foot and ankle. Send that big salary and liability somewhere, get KD and perhaps another player or so, and build your team that way, because I think he's a better fit. Brandon Ingram is 23. He's got a lot more gas in the tank than KD. I think I don't know. I just if that's who you're trying to get, it's gonna disrupt things how they are. But you trade Zion, get him and some future draft choices, and build with that group that you have right now, who made it to the playoffs. A cohesive team. Without Zion, some of them probably still have a little bit of animosity. Maybe it's not expressed towards Zion for not playing. I don't know if that was his choice or the GM's choice or the coach's choice, but it seemed like he was certainly ready to play. He was sending out videos showing him, 360 dunks and things like that. So he could have probably played 2 minutes just to disrupt things a little bit, but he was in street clothes. So that's a ton of money if you can unload it and then get a guy who's proven that can shoot lights out. All of a sudden, it opens up that middle for anybody else to do whatever they need to do. And so, Brandon Ingram has come too far this year, and I'd hate to see him go.
Well, it'll be interesting. One thing the Pelicans do have is they do have assets, which they didn't have before, and it's a matter. If you were a stock, you went from a $10 stock to about $100 stock as far as your assets are concerned.
Sure.
And so now if they could parlay that, and it's just very interesting that the summer we got Saints training camp in 2 weeks, and it's been Pelicans for the most part now. But it's at least
I think it's great.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to touch. I think Zion's staying. I know Zion's in the best shape he's ever been in. He's undergone some lifestyle changes to deal with his foot. I think the goal is,
He put the ice on his elbow.
Yeah. Well, his 22nd birthday was a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And you just got to. They're just still kids in so many ways. And again, like I'll transition to the Saints. If you take the difference between Jameis Winston from a maturity standpoint, just a off the field managing his life maturity standpoint from 22 to 28, that's like a lifetime for him. I mean, he's had some well documented problems, He recently graduated from college. He's family. He's in a different place than he was 6 years ago. And, so that's 5 or 6 years from the time when you're 22 to 27. There's a lot of maturity and there's a lot of growth. Now, a lot of players regress, like James Harden in the NBA. He has regressed. Ben Simmons has regressed. There's a lot of players who get that opportunity. And one of the things, this is just not in athletics. This is in politics. This is in business. You just don't know how a politician who is running is going to handle authority, how to handle exercise authority. You don't know how an athlete is going to handle money, much like I think Michael Thomas, a lot of people were disappointed on maybe his transformation after he signed his big contract. So that's always a risk. And the ones who succeed are the ones who are able to manage their life off the field and also mature and grow during that time period rather than regress. And so I think, you think about Jameis Winston. 3 years ago, he was off the draft list. My Saints signed him for basically a minimum. And he was humble. He was, sat the bench for an entire year. Started just wash, got his head together. And that humility from going to a first round pick to being barely into the league, was probably a good thing for him. And so now I think he has the opportunity to demonstrate his maturity on the field. But that's sort of the key. What I see with the Saints is, it appears he's done the first step of this. Now he's got to do the second step on the field, and then on the field, there's certain things, tendencies he had when he played that if he can avoid those, making an impulsive play or making the bad, the interception ratio, he could be a above average quarterback in the NFL. And that's all the Saints need this year because they sort of have the pieces in the other places.
Right. No, I don't disagree with you. I thought that, as always. I think when you're a shooter and you miss a few shots in a row, the best thing that can happen to you is you get fouled and go to the free throw line. And you make those 2 free throws, and it just gets you back in a rhythm and gets you feeling like, okay, I can do this. I'm just going to keep shooting and not worry about missing my next shot. And I think that's true for Jameis. I think what happens is he'll throw 1 or 2 bad passes or make a bad read, and then it gets in his head a little bit. And so, and I think a good coach will realize that and understand that. So instead of game planning for the defense and the game and the whatever, you might have to game plan a little bit for Jameis, and just have it, throw a little quick, look in route or a quick out route or something to build his confidence back. Let me get a completion or 2 in a row. And I'm thinking you're going to have to do a little bit of that. And then, once he gets those games where he threw for 5,000 yards, he was hot and he kept completing passes. He had great wide receivers that were making plays for him. And so those are the kind of things where you're in a rhythm. But when you're not in that rhythm, it's how do you respond and how do you manage the game and manage your confidence. And I think that's his issue. And if we can get him over that hump and let him be consistent over and over and over again, hopefully he learned that from Drew, that, just repetitive. They said that Drew Brees, 10 minutes before every game would take snaps. Every game. And he's taken snaps since he was, 10. Every game he would take snaps for about 5 to 10 minutes and make sure that transfer was going to be fine. And just every little part of the game he worked on. And you don't see that kind of work ethic. And, he was not as athletic as some of these guys. He's not an Elway. He's not a Tom Brady. But he worked so hard at all the little things and his accuracy and the muscle memory and just, his footwork, all those things. And hopefully James picked up some of those habits while watching Drew and has the discipline to carry it out.
Yeah, and I think there's three other factors. One would be, can they find a replacement for the 6 games that Kamara is going to be out, whether it be Mark or Ingram? Number 2, offensive tackle. And the third part is, how is the team going to react to Dennis Allen? He's a different personality. He's got a different. I think he'll have a different emphasis. They'll probably be more conservative on offense, a little more run, a lot more defense. He'll have a different little style to it. He won't be a gunslinger, I don't think, like Sean Payton is. And so how does when they first hit their first skid or have their first major injury, how do they respond to that? Which we just don't know, and we won't know until it happens. So, but it's a good looking forward to it, and there's optimism for every team in the league, but 3: Atlanta, Carolina, and the Jets. So 29. There's 29 other teams that are thinking they could make it to the Super Bowl, and also
I heard Christian McCaffrey tore his ACL again. Baker Mayfield's going to be a quarterback.
Yeah. Well, I think Baker's career could be resurrected under the right circumstances, but I don't think Carolina's where it's going to happen. So, all right, let's go to break. We got Justin on the line on the other side, and we'll take him. We'll be right back on All Things Legal after this brief timeout.
When you listen to Scoot, you're listening to Rock and Roll History.
Today in 1970 was on this day in 1998. I'll never forget the way I felt the morning.
Scoot's rock culture calendar has everything you remember and some things you don't. From legendary concert appearances to personal tragedies, he covers it all.
I remember playing this record on the air for the first time and knowing it was going to be a huge hit.
It's a perspective on the history of rock you can't get anywhere else from someone who's lived it.
Honestly, I'm lucky to be alive.
Scoot on the air, weekdays 1 to 4 on WWL. Celebrating a century of broadcasting. For 100 years, WWL Radio has been here for you when it matters most.
Okay, last spot in the set is Big Lou. July of 1939.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Baseball legend Lou Gehrig announced he had a fatal disease that would take his life and his name.
Might have been given a bad break, but I've got an awful lot to live for. Thank you.
What became known as Lou Gehrig's disease and later ALS slowly robs its victims of their nervous system and ability to function. Nonetheless, Gehrig delivered one of the most inspiring speeches in modern history.
This moment in history brought to you by Galindo Law and People's Health.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas. Small businesses are the backbone of America. Yet when it comes to workers' comp insurance, you rarely get the savings you deserve. That's because insurance companies tend to lump you in with other businesses, and you can get overcharged. At Pi Insurance, we're on a mission to change that. With Pi, you get a quote specific to your business, and you could save up to 30% with no hassle and no hidden fees. If you like savings, take 3 minutes to see how much you could save at trypi.com. Pi makes workers' comp insurance as easy as pie, with friendly representatives just a call away. No wonder customers rate our service excellent on Trustpilot. You work hard to build your business and keep your employees safe. You deserve more from your workers' comp provider. See how much you can save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote today at trypi.com. That's trypie.com.
So how many adjusters has your insurance company assigned to your Hurricane Ida claim? 3, 4, 5? Has your adjuster stopped returning your calls? How many of your emails have been ignored? If this all sounds too familiar, then maybe it's time for you to take the next step. This is Albert Nicaud with the Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm in Metairie. You've paid homeowners insurance premium for years. You deserve to be paid what you're entitled to. When you finally had enough, call me, Albert Nicaud, at 504-837-1304. I'm ready to help you finally get your claim paid.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-555-1509. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-555-1509. That's 800-555-1509 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-555-1509. 800-555-1509.
Now, more All Things Legal, underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. All advice given and opinions shared are solely those of attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri. Back to WWL.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud. We've got Justin on the line. Justin is on a regular listener. Irrevocable trust. So, which is fun.
Can you hear me okay?
I hear you, Justin. How are you doing? Have you gotten
hey, Albert and Doug. I hope you're having a beautiful Sunday because I'm enjoying every bit of it.
Where are you and what are you doing? Other than listening to us.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Where are you and what are you doing other than listening to us?
I'm in Gentilly. I'm sitting on my couch about to play my drums, but I was going to talk to you guys first because I felt like calling and saying hello.
Now wait, I got to stop you there. It is 8:30 on a Sunday morning, and you're about to bang on your drums. Now,
wait, back up. I'm not going to play till 10 o'clock.
Oh, okay, I got you.
There you go.
I was wondering about your neighbors.
My neighbors, they're feeding their kids in the morning. The last thing they want to hear is a bunch of drumming this morning.
That was my point. All right.
Okay, well, I'm with you, bud. Anyway, I'm going to start this off by a quote from my great father, John Marcel. Everybody called him Jack, but his name was John. He said, going to court is the last resort. And I'm going to update you on what happened. My neighbor across the street, I told you about the trees from her neighbor's yard was pouring into her yard.
Right.
And the branches, the review, a branch came down during Hurricane Zeta and knocked out the power lines. Then Hurricane Ida, a branch fell down in her yard and almost killed her granddaughter who was living in the little house where the thing landed on. And my neighbor, Caroline, she's a sweetheart. She was so infuriated. I'm going to sue them. Blah, blah, blah. I said, wait a minute. Just calm down. Why don't you? And the people that owned the house at the time were like 70s. So they were gone. Well, the new neighbors are there now. And I said, Caroline, why don't you just go over there and tell them, please cut these, trim these trees because they keep falling on my house. Well, guess what? It worked because there was a tree cutter yesterday on the tree limbs. And I said, wasn't that easy to do instead of going to court? What do you think?
Albert, yeah.
Well, it's advice we always give, right? You always want to start, especially with a next door neighbor who you're going to be living next to, who knows how long. Always want to start with the olive branch and say, hey, look, could you please do this? But here's why, and if they tell you to go pound sand, then, then send them the letter, put them on notice, and take the steps you have to take. But that's always great advice. And listen, we as lawyers don't always give legal advice. Quite often we give practical advice. and advice. Listen, they call us counselors. You ought to see how often we sit in the conference room and counsel our clients and let them kind of air their problems to us and then come up with sometimes practical solutions, always with a legal bent to it and making sure that they're within the bounds and within the lanes. But it's always the best advice, and absolutely court is the last resort. And nobody wants to go there. Nobody wants to spend all that time, money, effort, risk to air your differences, which are then all made public and can go on for years. It's great advice, and we would suggest that to anyone. Start first with a pitcher of lemonade and a knock on the door and say, "Hey, look, new neighbor, here we go. But here's the problem I've been having with these last folks. I never could get them to comply. Here's what's happened over here. And, I always want to be a good neighbor. So, would you consider doing X, Y, Z?"
Well, it worked, Albert. It worked. She actually got through to them and said, "Please take care of this," and they did it. Yeah. And I said, "You don't have to go to court to do that." Now, Doug, what's your input on this?
Well, I would say if court doesn't work, your final resort is finding Vito Corleone and asking if he could do anything about it. Yeah, Sonny's swimming with the fish twice now. Once in the show and in real life. So
he died on the causeway of all places.
Right. Rest.
Doug, actually, what Albert just said, I'm going to get off the phone. What Albert just said, it's hard to follow what he just said. So I would just keep quiet.
Well, actually, that's it. Albert was exactly right. Albert, for the last 15 years, has been saying, just it's pragmatic.
Well, y'all have a beautiful day, and thanks for talking to me. I appreciate it.
All right. One other thing, too.
And good luck on the drums with the neighbors.
Did you get your check from the Nicaud and Sunseri Irrevocable Trust this month?
I did, but it bounced. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't need money from you. I don't need money from you, babe. No, but I do love the conversation, though.
All right, gotcha.
All right, thanks for the call, Justin.
Thanks for the call. And
absolutely, you take care. Bye.
Yeah, and Albert, I want to dovetail on that. We get a lot of calls about how the law applies to certain issues, and what would happen in court. But you're right. A lot of times, most of the solutions in business, I know in family law and estate issues, it has, like you say, a legal foundation to it. But it's a lot of pragmatic and wise advice on how to efficiently solve a problem.
Yes. And let me tell you, nobody wants to start dropping a retainer and paying an hourly rate, for phone calls and texts and emails and correspondence and letters and this and that between lawyers. Do your best to work it out yourselves. Let cooler head prevail. And I often will ghostwrite a letter for a client, in very basic terms, and just look, why don't you start off sending the letter instead of lawyering up? Get the advice. Let me help you with what the letter should say, but send that letter and offer to resolve things amicably at first, not at all costs, but at first. And at that point, you can take the temperature of that person and see where they are and how ornery they're going to be and how combative they're going to be. And I think for the neighbor across the street, it might just be a situation where the new neighbors have the means to be able to trim trees. It's quite expensive these days, especially post-hurricane. So she might have just lucked out that these folks had the means to do it. The other folks might have wanted to do it, but just, maybe they were on fixed incomes and didn't have that kind of cash to go drop or cutting trees. So, it worked out, and maybe they were just very reasonable and said, "Yeah, I agree. We don't want to be bad neighbors either. We're new to the neighborhood, and we want to be good neighbors. So we're gonna take the extra step."
All right. Well, good advice. Let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, We'll be right back after this.
It's been a week.
The parade in downtown Highland Park.
Active shooter at the location, multiple victims.
Mass shootings have become our weekly American tradition.
Joe Biden did, in fact, know what his son was doing.
And it all happened here.
There's an impending recession.
That should be a new prime minister.
Stay with us throughout the weekend.
Former Prime Minister of Japan attacked.
Brittany Griner should not be detained.
And as the new week begins,
An executive order protecting Americans' access to abortion.
WWL, the News Talk Sports leader.
WWL is proudly sponsored by Dudley DeBosier Injury Lawyers. Call 504-444-4444. Non-attorney spokesperson Chad Dudley, New Orleans.
The following is a commercial announcement.
Your local radio stations are here for you. No subscriptions or monthly fees necessary. We're here to give you the news, weather, and traffic you need, and the music you love. But if the foreign-owned record labels get their way, it could stop the music. They want Congress to force radio stations to pay them more money, simply to play their music. Don't let radio go silent. Text LOCAL to 52886 and tell Congress to protect local radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
We are all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. Water sports are a great summer activity and can be eco-friendly too. First, avoid activities like jet skiing or water skiing and instead opt for activities like kayaking or paddleboarding. Swimming, snorkeling, and diving are great activities too and have virtually no impact on the environment. And use sunscreen labeled Reef Safe to help protect marine wildlife. Join Odyssey, and together each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Protect what matters most with ABC Fire and Burglar Alarm. Security systems, monitoring, automation, and cameras for your home or business. Stay secure and connected at an affordable price. Call ABC today, 889-9795.
Brandon Holly here. Windows, doors, one plank, and final side. Windows.com.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I'm still mad at timeshare companies. For over a decade, I've been fighting the
We got a short one after this, and we'll go live.
timeshare. But after all those battles, I'm still asking, how do they sell timeshares for $25,000 when they're available online for only $1? Here's how they do it. They lie. They tell you things like, timeshare is a great investment. You can go anywhere, anytime, or your maintenance fees will never go up. Everything they do to get you to sign a timeshare agreement is part of a well-planned trap. If you've ever been held hostage at a timeshare presentation and bought, Wesley Financial Group is here to help. To date, we've canceled timeshares for over 30,000 families. And I guarantee you this, we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare cancellation guide. 800-660-1771. That's 800-660-1771. 800-660-1771.
Some people bring joy wherever they go. Some whenever they go. Mark Twain found humor all around. Never argue with a fool. Onlookers may not be able to tell the difference. Humor. Pass it on from passidon.com.
All things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on WWL, an Odyssey station. Connect now on the Oakland Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend live. That's a little Mac Rebenak. You know, I know this for a fact. I even told Michael Power this, the former city attorney for Kenner and Parish Jefferson. He was the De La Salle grad that from 1960. He's not listening to us. He likes to listen to WTIX on the morning. Listen to the Beatles. But he said Dr. John played.
There you go.
That's just, you know, I guess what.
Well, you know, we were talking. I went to a couple of weddings last night. My daughter was in one, and then another was a good friend, so we kind of share our time. I was talking to a friend, and he saw some girl at the wedding, and she was. They used to hang out at Frank's Wharf and watch and listen to Harvey Jesus. It was either Frank's Wharf or Augie's Delago. It might have been Augie's. That's more appropriate for him. But he would listen to Harvey Jesus, and so they talked for a little while. And I told him, I said, I went to a wedding a couple of years ago, and there was a band called Karma, and it was the best cover band that I've heard and I've seen in the city. And the lead singer is Harvey Jesus' son, and they call him Baby Jesus. And he is probably one of the most talented kids I've seen. He's probably, maybe late 20s, 30s, and just full of energy. Can sing, can dance, can entertain, gets the crowd into it. It was pretty incredible. Band Karma, and it was Baby Jesus and crew.
Well, New Orleans has the best cultural economy in North America. I mean, it's not a better place to come visit. And we have this wonderful cultural economy. We have this wonderful architecture. We have this wonderful spirit of fun here. We have there's so much to do.
Best food in the world.
Best food in the world. I mean, it's the Super Bowl every week here when it comes to food.
Yeah.
And I just get you listen to these news breaks. I'm wondering at what point is our mayor going to get out from under her desk hiding and say, this is a crisis we have in our city as far as crime, and I'm going to do something extraordinary about it. They could probably put a darn statue next to her to that hair pick, and if she would just stop crime, she would be a hero in this city.
Right.
If she just did one thing in the next 3 years, she wouldn't have to do anything else. She could have, stop crime, and she would be a hero. And,
so let me tell you, Doug. I don't know if anyone has seen it, but one of my friends from high school, Scott Illing is his name. Scott is our U.S. Marshal for the Eastern District. Go pull it up on Fox 8. It's a full interview, probably a 7 or 8 minute interview he gave this week. And it was a press conference, and he had all of the, all of the sheriffs from different cities and parishes around the area in the New Orleans metropolitan area. And they had a federal state sting operation where they arrested like 160 of the most hardened criminals in the area. And, this was the mayor was not up there in the press conference, but I know that the New Orleans police captain was there, and it was a terrific interview. He was very eloquent, spoke about the crime problem, about how there was crime in New Orleans in the 90s. He said he's been a lawman for 40 years. His crime in the 90s, his crime after Katrina. And he said now that it's probably the worst he's ever seen it, and it was time to do something. So they put a task force together. But Scott Illing, if you Google that, of course after our show, but Google Scott Illing, ILLING, press conference, and you will see the press conference. And it was very, very encouraging, and it was with the cooperation of the NOPD captain, and so hopefully. That will get some mileage out of that arrest. I remember our friend Joe Raspani, a friend of the show, he's a criminal defense attorney, and he told me that Leon Cannizzaro told him when he was the district attorney, he said, Joe, if we could just lock up and keep locked up about 200 people in the city. He said, these 200 criminals that are committing violent crimes over and over and over again, he said, we know who they are. And we've arrested him. Well, not whatever, but we've tried to hold him, indict him, and whatever. But he said they keep getting let out. The judges let them out. The police, they're just having all these, these issues. He said if we could get them and just get the courts to hold them in jail, he said, and get them off the street, crime would go down by 50%. He said it, but he said, and so I think this is kind of what Leon was talking about. And that hopefully now that these guys are all arrested, I'm saying guys, girls, whatever, these hardened criminals, all violent criminals, now that they're off the streets, at least temporarily, if we can get the judges to do their job and not let them out on bond, on bail, whatever the case may be, make them stay in jail, prosecute them, and put them away, crime will go down substantially. Recidivism means people go back in and commit the same crimes over and over and over again. And these long rap sheets develop. It's all well until, that's great until you're the next victim, and it's like, wait a minute, why isn't this guy behind bars now? Why was he let out this many times? Why was he on probation for a violent crime and committing more crime? Why isn't he staying in jail and remaining in jail? And so it's just, it's somewhat of an easy answer if you just apply the law.
Look, if you just got a control of the crime, the potholes, the traffic lights that don't work, the city services that don't happen, all the other things that we have, that the mayor doesn't address, we would survive, and we would have a certain amount of prosperity from the tourists. They would just have, their cars would be busted up. They'd have to go through traffic lights slow. They would have city services that didn't work, but they would have a good time, and we could survive until we get someone in there who's got the ability to address it, and the willpower and the fortitude to address it. But
well, I can tell you the other thing, they are losing taxpayers. I'm hearing from Uptown, Lakeview, areas where the property taxes are very high. They're selling and moving. I'm tired of, my car got broken into 3 times in the last 3 months, and nobody's doing anything about it. And these juveniles are getting out before they finish the police report. So why am I here? What? And also, if you're in Lakeview, you're paying that extra money for this protection, right? For this security service to drive around. Where are they? What are they doing? And where's that money going? So it's just it's crazy.
I gave this
it's not a way to live.
Last 2 or 3 weeks, I have a regional company in South Louisiana that's based out of St. Tammany. In their personnel manual, I said we writ right. Do not get gas in Orleans Parish. That is an offense that is punishable by termination or a possible termination. And they're doing it for safety reasons. Now, if you think that people are now, businesses adjacent to Orleans Parish are writing into their personnel file not to get gas in Orleans Parish because it's too dangerous. I mean, you're losing $100 of revenue there just on getting, or taxes on $100 of gas. That's not a lot, but that's how businesses view Orleans Parish. In the life of me, I have no idea how this mayor just hides under a desk, deals with symbolic issues that don't do a darn thing to improve the city of New Orleans, then antagonizes the rest of the state and people who try to bring it to her attention. It's just beyond me. Let's hope we can survive the next 3 years. And, hopefully maybe other people such as this task force take up the slack, and these new ones can survive until this horrible, inefficient, terrible mayor gets out of office. All right, let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert, and Nicaud, your weekend lawyers. We'll be right back with Conrad on the other side. He's going to give his comment. We'll be back after this brief time out.
A bad
bad team facing a good team is never completely out of it.
Nick Costos, co-host of You Better You Bet, 3 to 7 p.m. Eastern on the BetQL network.
There's 162 games in the season. The best teams are going to lose 60 plus times, and the worst teams are going to win 60 plus times. Each night is its own individual entity. That's what makes betting on the baseball regular season so much fun.
All the insight you need to bet smarter is at BetQL.com. And listen to You Better You Bet with Nick Costos and Ken Barkley, streaming weekdays from 3 to 7 p.m. Eastern on Odyssey.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. I trust J&J to protect my home and family.
J&J has protected Louisiana homes and businesses for over 50 years. We shield your home from termites, rollers, ants, mosquitoes, and other pests. J&J Exterminating is Louisiana's largest independently owned pest control company. We know what works in Louisiana's climate. Get the shield.
Looking to build a new career and earn while you learn? Come to the Louisiana Workforce Commission's Apprenticeship Career Fair. There'll be hundreds of opportunities in industries ranging from plumbing to engineering, gas and electrical, even carpentry and ironwork. You must be 18 or older to participate. It's all happening Wednesday, July 13th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. in Shreveport at the Caddo Career Solutions Center and in Baton Rouge at the East Baton Rouge Career and Technical Education Center. Come find a new career at the Apprenticeship Career Fair. This sample sponsored by the Louisiana Workforce Commission.
Where do you go when you want to sell a diamond?
CausewayCoinCo.com.
Go to JennyKingCleans.com.
Are you kidding me? Gas prices are up again? Somebody has to do something.
Well, someone did. That's why I use Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that pays you back real money for every gallon of gas or diesel you buy. I just earned 25 cents back on every gallon of this tank.
Hold on. So the Upside app is free and you actually get cash back every time you use it? No strings attached?
Yep, it's awesome. Check it out. It only takes a couple of minutes to sign up.
Instead of just watching your dollars go into your tank, start putting money back into your wallet with the free app from Upside. With the price of gas today, it's big news and big money. To cash out of your Upside cash, just transfer it to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card. Upside users have already earned over $200 million. Now it's your turn. Download the free Upside app and get cash back on every gallon of gas. Use promo code HUGE for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's code HUGE. Use code HUGE for an extra 25 cents per gallon back in your first fill-up. Cashback not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
All things legal on WWL. Consult with Nicaud and Sunseri now on the Oakland House Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870. And don't forget to rewind on the Odyssey app.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, the Weekend Lawyers, all things legal. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to Conrad. He's got some comments. Hey, Conrad.
Hey, Doug. Hey, Al. How are you?
Good.
So listen, as a fellow attorney, I wanted to tell you, number one, I appreciate the show, and I originally had a question about name, image, and likeness, but when you hit the crime issue in New Orleans, I couldn't hold back. When people like yourself and you guys know the law just as well as I do, I have people call me and say, well, wait, we talk about crime in New Orleans, and I tell them it's not just fixing one branch. It's not getting a new mayor. It's not just getting a prosecutor. You have to look at all of the angles in terms of the law. So you need a mayor who is going to appoint a police chief, which I think, personally, I think we should revise the charter to have an elected sheriff, not a police chief. And that way they'd be accountable to the people. But if you get a law and order mayor, then you need a law and order DA, which right now we don't have a law and order DA, in my opinion. And then you need to have criminal judges who are also law and order. The problem is, in my opinion, is these criminal judges, and you guys see this, they come and they do a tour of the law firms because they want the lawyers to push their candidacy, but they're being funded by defense counsel. I mean, they're being funded, their campaigns are being funded by defense counsel. So it's kind of hard from a criminal judge standpoint to turn down defense counsel when they have their campaigns funded by these attorneys. So if you're going to fix the system, you need to fix all three of those branches, if you will, in my opinion. I'd like to hear your comments on that.
You're right. I think it's short term and it's long term. I agree with that. I do believe it starts with the mayor. Because if you galvanize, much like you did in San Francisco, it's happened in Los Angeles, public opinion will be, judges will recognize that. Maybe they'll look at things differently and they'll say, I appreciate contributions, but self-preservation is important to me right now. And I'm saying public opinion. Just having a wave of whether it be protests or accountability of judges, and then you'll see it. You saw that happen a little bit with Jason Williams when it uptick of crime. He sort of started backtracking on some of his policies, on that. Mm-hmm. So I think it starts with the mayor, but you're right. It does on all those areas as far as someone who's competent and understands that. And this can be addressed. It's been addressed in New York in the 1990s. Beautiful. And there is a blueprint out there to do it. It's just getting people who have the fortitude to do that. And maybe the mayor doesn't want to address it because maybe that's the people who elected her. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
I think the mayor, though, guys. I think the mayor, though. I mean, she's a lame duck mayor. I mean, she could care less.
Right.
And I think if you ask, right, she doesn't care. It's her, and it's not. She's tapped out. She's termed out. And I think if you ask the citizens of New Orleans, I would think the number one issue on their mind is crime. Number one. Yeah. Number one. Yeah.
And she.
Well, and again, and she's not from here. She's not from here. So I don't think she's got New Orleans. Yeah, she's got New Orleans at heart. She's looking to find some job with the Democratic National Committee, and she's going to, do whatever she can to move on, much like Mitch did. And, it's sometimes at the expense of our city, at the expense of division, at the expense of not uniting people and bringing us together. All cultures have lived together great in this city. We didn't have the riots. We don't, we win a Super Bowl. We don't start smashing cars. I mean, it's a city where, the vast majority were like lower middle class and worked together, all races, all whatever. And we knew one another. And it was a city that, became more and more divided, I think, with this last mayor. And it's just, it's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. And everybody's got to band together, crime is one thing, but, again, when you're the next victim, all of a sudden it's really personal. And hopefully people can have some empathy for all those crime victims everywhere that are not having their day in court or their justice or their grievances. Too many times we look at the criminal and make the criminal the victim as opposed to the victim. The criminal may have a horrible life history and story and everything else, but there's still right and wrong, and what needs to, people need to be accountable for their actions. And, have rehab, have prison rehab, have a drug prison where nonviolent drug offenders who just happen to have possession or work certain drug things, put them in separate areas and work to get them, get to the root of their drug problem and help them kick it, as opposed to putting them in with the guy who stole a car and put a gun in somebody's head. I mean, there's certain answers I think that just makes sense, but we gotta get somebody in there that can do that. I know we got about a minute or two.
Let me ask you this: what do y'all think of taking the police chief out of the purview of being selected by the mayor, and do what Jefferson Parish does? Have the police chief as an elected position that's accountable to the people.
Well, I think you'd have to change the city charter, and there's a big,
right.
Yeah. But real quickly, Conrad, are you the fourth?
No, I'm actually the fifth.
You're the fifth. Okay, so I guess it would be your great grandfather. I was a waiter at Drago's in the 80s, and he and his wife would come into the restaurant and have a big cowboy hat on, in the 80s, he had probably like a, I don't know, 1970 something, big tail scraper kind of car. And he was just, he was. It was like a 10-year-old car. He'd come in and they'd sit down, and I'd wait on him quite often. And then I don't know if there was a Conrad Meyer on Rosa Avenue renting an office here. I don't know if he's still here. Is that a relation? Hello?
Yeah, that's my grandfather. Yeah, he's my grandfather. He actually taught civil procedure at Tulane.
Okay.
And, he described him to a T. I mean, that's the 10-gallon hat with the cowboy boots.
He was just very prim and proper and delightful fellow. I mean, I really enjoyed him, and then getting to know the rest of the family. They would come in for dinner, and it was kind of neat. And I live actually next door to the office on Rosa, right close to Metairie Road. And he'll get up and he'll walk each time. So, anyway, thanks for the call. We're trying to talk a little bit about NIL. I saw you on the other side.
Talking about sports, and I can tell you that's a huge deal. That's going to change, I think, everything. And I just wanted to ask you guys, since y'all do comment about sports and you are attorneys, what your thoughts are on NIL, especially for young high school players in the New Orleans area.
On the other side.
The News Talk Sports Powerhouse. WWL New Orleans, WWL FM and HD1 Cannon New Orleans, and Odyssey Station.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
I'm Linda Kenyon in Washington. The committee investigating the January 6th riot at the Capitol says former Trump White House counsel Pat Cipollone's testimony reinforces the testimony of another White House official. Political analyst Larry Sabato says this is a key development.
What the committee has suggested is that Cipollone's testimony is going to be powerful and will reinforce some of the dramatic testimony we've already seen from people like Cassidy Hutchinson.
A statement from the committee says Cipollone's testimony was Trump engaged in what it called Donald Trump's supreme dereliction of duty. Abortion rights supporters continue to protest the Supreme Court's decision to strike down Roe v. Wade. This woman was at a protest in Washington, D.C.
Women are not incubators. You cannot force someone to give birth.
In Indiana, Planned Parenthood and members of the public are demanding action from the state legislature.
I want them to listen to their constituents. I think that's key. And I need them to understand that they do not have the right to decide what happens to families in their bodies.
State lawmakers will hold a special session in 2 weeks. COVID is on the rise again thanks to the subvariant BA.5. CBS News medical contributor Dr. David Agus.
The vaccines help you from serious illness and hospitalization, especially if you have a booster. But this is so infectious. It's spreading throughout the country. Over 90% of places in the country have really high transmission rates.
A mass shooting at a tavern in Johannesburg, Soweto Township has killed 15 people. The BBC's Andrew Harding with details.
The attack took place soon after midnight. Police said several gunmen entered the Orlando East Tavern and opened fire, seemingly at random. No motive has yet been established. Shootings are not uncommon in South Africa, but this is an exceptionally high death toll.
In a separate incident, 4 people were shot to death at a tavern in a different township in South Africa. Massive protests broke out at the homes of the president and the prime minister of Sri Lanka this weekend. Here's CBS's Adriana Diaz.
A mob stormed the president's home, breaking through security to enter the building. The prime minister's home was also mobbed and then lit on fire. The protests come amid the country's financial crisis. Both the president and prime minister have now agreed to resign.
The temperatures could reach 97 degrees today in Lakewood, Colorado, but for residents of an affordable housing complex, there's been no air conditioning since Thursday. This man lives there.
Got disabled people. I can go outside. It's people in this building that I know can't go outside.
Management had promised to fix the issue sometime on Friday, but as of last night, still no air conditioning. This is CBS News.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance, so you pay for what you need. Visit libertymutual.com to learn more.
The IRS doesn't mess around. They want your money. They'll take it. They can check and bank account too. Even from your home or business. Don't take on the IRS alone. You owe back taxes. The smartest thing you can do is call Optima Tax Relief. The experts at Optima specialize in a powerful IRS tax assistance program called the Fresh Start Initiative. And their clients that qualify are saving thousands. One call starts the process to stop the demand letters, stop aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS from targeting you. But don't delay. It's important to act now while you still have options. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. Optima has already resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get your life back. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima now for your free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit
WWL First News. I'm Dave Cohen on your official weather station, WWL.
Lots of clouds will be around through pretty much the entire day, and a cool front will be slowly moving through the area, and that is going to trigger more showers and thunderstorms as we go through today. Later on this afternoon, many of us will see light to moderate rain, and also some heavy rain in a few locations.
We have a problem on the twin span coming into New Orleans. Cars away at Oak Harbor. And so
Your rural weather expert, WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Warrior. Legal wrangling is expected this week over the Louisiana abortion ban. It became law after the U.S. Supreme Court overturned the national abortion protection provided by the Roe v. Wade ruling.
Abortion clinics were forced to stop procedures Friday after a New Orleans judge lifted the restraining order challenging the state's abortion ban trigger laws.
WWL's Eric Piccoli reports the judge advised the case belongs in a Baton Rouge court where pro-choice advocates will now try to stop the ban. Dr. Avis Williams takes over.
That's correct.
Of New Orleans Public Schools this coming week.
There is a 18-wheeler over.
Will be the first female permanent superintendent in the city's 181
everybody away from getting gas.
And for the school system as her first official act as superintendent Monday. This marks the end of Dr. Henderson Lewis Jr.'s 7-year run as superintendent. Dr. Williams has been working as a superintendent in Alabama for the past 2 years.
Gunfire early this morning in New Orleans. Shooting rang out around 2 a.m. 3700 block of Tulane Avenue. Police say one male victim sustained multiple gunshot wounds. Another man was shot last night in the warehouse district in New Orleans. It happened down South Peters Street, about a block from Poydras Street. That man also sustained multiple gunshot wounds to his body. Any suspect as violent crime keeps surging in the city of New Orleans. This weekend marks 40 years since a Pan Am Boeing 727 crashed into a residential neighborhood in Kenner shortly after takeoff from New Orleans Armstrong International Airport. Bobby Fields was there when it happened.
Everybody was running crazy, parents and friends and brothers and sisters, and they just didn't know who was alive or who was dead or what was happening.
The crash killed all 146 people on board and 8 people on the ground. Here's Sean Ross with WWL Sports.
CJ McCollum appears to be the next player the Pels look to lock down this summer. ESPN's Brian Windhorst reported McCollum and the Pels have begun talking about a contract extension. No doubt his presence is felt on the court, especially during last year's playoff push. Ali Kosel of the Bird Wright says McCollum is the team's leader, taking pressure off Zion and the Pels' young core.
He's a great leader. You see how much he talks to the guys on social media as well as in front of cameras. He looks like the type of leader this team definitely hasn't had.
McCollum's current deal is through the 2023-2024 season. Sean Ross, WWL Sports.
And now your Garcia Roofer forecast on WWL.
Scattered showers and thunderstorms are in the forecast today, and a cool front is slowly moving through, and that will continue to ignite more showers and thunderstorms as we go through the morning and the afternoon hours. We may see isolated heavy rain, and that could lead to some flooding, so just be mindful of that because the air is just so tropical. And temperatures are expected to climb into the upper 80s and lower 90s under mostly cloudy cloudy to overcast conditions. As we begin the week, that same cool front will stall out, and that's going to keep everything rather unsettled pretty much through the entire week. So we are looking at moderate to high rain chances daily, but it will keep our temperatures in check, climbing into the middle to upper 80s daily, so we won't be dealing with that intense heat. And a quick check of what's going on in the tropics. Everything is looking pretty quiet, at least for the next 5 days. From the local weather expert forecast center, I'm WWL-TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
Dave Cohen, WWL First News.
WWL, the news, talk, sports powerhouse of the Gulf South. It's all things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakland Heart Jewelers talk and text line, 504-260-1870. Or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios in the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, we're back for hour number 2. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. Got a little traffic news that just came into the newsroom. On the twin spans, there has been an 18-wheeler that has overturned and blocking the westbound lane on the twin span. So all traffic is being diverted at Oak Harbor into New Orleans, turned around. There will be no access in the immediate future to the to the eastbound of the twin spans, heading from Slidell to New Orleans for the indefinite till we hear otherwise. All traffic is not diverted, turned around at Oak Harbor, and you'll have to get another access into the city. So we'll let you know if anything changes in temperature. Throughout the broadcast, you can assume that there's no that the twin span is closed, heading into New Orleans, eastbound, and we'll let you know.
That's southbound, right?
Well, it's southbound. It's east as far as westbound.
Yes.
Thanks. Heading from Slidell to New Orleans. So we'll let you know anything.
Which all the people coming back from the beach, for the 4th of July week.
We have Billy from the
North
Shore. We'll talk about this.
We want to Highway 90, or maybe they can take the. I'm pretty sure the Highway 11 is back.
So yeah, I know. Sort of went on a rant before we went over. I love this city. I think it's the most wonderful city in the world, and I just hate to see it being desecrated by incompetence and laziness of district attorneys and mayors. And I hope everybody gets upset where they're going to do something about it, or at least public pressure change. Okay, let's go to phone lines. Let's go. This is Billy. Is that correct?
Yes, from the North Shore.
Billy from the North Shore. Hey, Billy, you and all things legal.
Good morning. I'm enjoying the show this morning. Sure. I'm ex-law enforcement retired. Comments. We have an apartment in the French Quarter right behind the Ritz-Carlton. And every weekend, my wife and I go out and, besides the political issues with the mayor and DA, we know we have those issues, but Raphael Goyeneche made a comment probably about a week ago that I totally agree with, and the thing is, we can't enforce or apply the laws that we already have on the books because everybody's always saying, oh, well, we need to put new laws in place. No, we don't. We just need to enforce the laws we have, and we don't have enough police officers on the street to do it. And my point is this, when we're walking through the Quarter or down Canal Street or going anywhere around the city and the CBD and the French Quarter, the thing is, we see so much stuff going on, bicyclists taking up 3 lanes, riding down Canal Street, blocking cars, guys on 4-wheelers, guys on motorcycles. And we'll see police officers at every intersection going down Canal Street. And they do not engage, they do not stop them, and they just watch them as they drive by, doing wheelies, everything else, holding up foot traffic, vehicle traffic, and everything else. So my point is, again, we need to get some kind of funding to get more officers on the street to enforce the laws that we already have on the books.
Yeah, and again, Billy, first of all, thank you for your service in law enforcement. We really appreciate that. And again, that's what a mayor does. A mayor prioritizes a budget. It prioritizes whether you're going to put, statutes in the
Well, here's another comment. We have a mayor that's not engaged with the public.
Right.
So whatever agenda she has,
Right.
it's not on her behalf.
Right. Exactly. And that's exactly right. And now tell me this as ex-law enforcement. You said that on on Canal Street, police officers are watching all this lawless activity occurring on Canal Street, which is a public hazard, or potential public hazard. Why do the policemen not engage?
I don't know if it's a numbers issue or it's a thing of, well, they don't really feel that they have time to do it, or they don't have enough backup. But there's plenty of times where we have driven down the street coming back from dinner, and there'll be bicyclists across all three lanes on Canal, holding up traffic and doing whatever they want to do, and driving straight by every intersection past police officers, and they just right there standing at their vehicles. And I understand it's a numbers game. You have 20 guys on bicycles. How are you going to stop them? Or hey guys, you can't be doing this on a Friday and Saturday night, or any night for that matter, on Canal Street, because it's dangerous with vehicles and bicyclists. We have enough issues already with that.
The other problem is
the four-wheelers doing the same thing.
Yeah, the other problem is you got policemen that are going to say, you know what? Why am I going to waste my time engaging with these people? Because they're not going to do anything to them. They're going to be out if I arrest them. They're going to be out if I ticket them. We're not going to collect it. It's just going to be a backlog.
It's a public safety issue.
I get it, but at some point you're like, if I arrest this dude for breaking a window, and breaking into a car, he's going to be out. Nobody's backing me up as a policeman. I don't have the support of the city, of all of the other organizations that are supposed to back me up as a police officer and say, okay, you're not making an arrest for no reason. And then all of a sudden you get into an altercation and they push you. Yeah, you push you, they throw you to the ground, you throw them to the ground, and now all of a sudden you're on desk duty and you might lose your job. And so why,
the criminals, and I agree with you 100%, sir, the criminals have no consequence, or they don't feel like there's a consequence because they're like what you just said. They know they're going to get the slap on the wrist. There's not going to be heavy prosecution.
So we got Jack from Gentilly and JT from New Orleans, all the same summer.
It's going to come to me, so I'll just go back out and do the same thing tomorrow night or the next night.
Yep.
Well, Billy.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for the call, Billy.
And just keep doing the good work y'all are doing, and maybe we'll get a message through to somebody that we're in crisis and need help here in the city.
Amen. Let's go to the phone. Let's go to Jack in Gentilly. I think he's got similar sentiments. Hey, Jack, what you got for us, brother?
Hey, there's got to be some information available about every judge at the criminal district court and the bails that they propose for these alleged criminals. There's got to be a way to find who these judges are and expose them publicly.
Well, I think to a certain extent, Raphael Coronetti does a good job with, what he can when there's something outrageous to do that. But yes, I do believe that if some of these bails, some of these criminals are acknowledged publicly, a lot of these criminal judges would be shamed into reevaluating their position, especially if
that's
they're.
Why we need. I was going to say that's why we need to publicize the bail assignments of these judges and expose them.
Now, a very similar thing happened years ago with, I think it was Mothers Against Drunk Driving. You had an issue 20, 30 years ago where a lot of people who were arrested for drunk driving, who caused a lot of injury, and were getting very light sentences. And they used to have a mad representative in all the DWI sessions of judges. And the judge would look out and see that there's somebody watching. And he was very, very careful with that. That also happened in the domestic violence sphere, where you had, domestic violence issues going before judges. And then, you had, these, they would be let off, and then there would be some type of horrible horrific murder or assault after they were let out. And then that particular judge's name was in the front page of the paper. And then all the other judges took note. Not so much that they were philosophically changing. They wanted to have self-preservation. And I agree with you that if you did have an organization, it'd probably have to start out to be voluntary, where they sit in criminal court, they take notes, and they find out what these bails were for, and they are publicized. And then after
I wonder if Raphael has access to all of the names and phone numbers for these different judges, and specifically what their bails, what the bond assignments are.
He's got so many issues on his plate that you would need a bigger infrastructure to do that. Now, what he does appear on it after the fact. He was arrested 17 times. He was let off on bail, released on his own recognizance. But if you do have accountability, and I do believe this, I'm not going to be very popular. I don't go to criminal court, so I guess it's not an issue. But it's not a popular thing to say when you're an attorney, that you could shame judges to re-looking at things when it comes to a public crisis. And, we are...
Well, there was a female judge that lowered the bond for some...
Take a break right after this, and then take JT.
They tried to get the bond reinstated. She put the quash on that. Mm-hmm. And you wonder what kind of allegiance does this judge have to a particular alleged criminal?
Now, I've seen this nationally, also in California, that you would have a judge who let some particular, or Texas, I think recently, where there was a ridiculously low bond for a very violent offender. As soon as it became public, all of a sudden the bond was reassessed and raised. As soon as there was a light shined on that particular issue. And I think it's worked to a certain extent. Of all places, San Francisco. I think there's a recall election in Los Angeles, which is a different world than New Orleans as far as our sensibilities, how we view life, how we our values. It's a totally different place, and they're starting to shine the light and have some accountability. So yes, you do need accountability, and I think conceptually you're 100% right. I just, in times of crisis like this is how you mobilize these type of ideas, organizations, so that you can hold these judges and DAs and the mayor accountable.
These 3 carjackings within an hour on Bayou St. John. I can't believe that's happening because I went to grammar school at Holy Rosary.
So did I. I went to grammar school at Holy Rosary as well.
Bishop Caillouet was there.
Bishop Caillouet was there, absolutely. And followed by Bob Mathis.
Oh, that's the Marian priest.
The Marian priest. He married Aaron and me.
I used to dread going to confession because Bishop Caillouet, for just a tiny venial sin, would hit you with like 5 rosaries.
He was.
You'd have to lie in your confession so you wouldn't get much of a sentence there.
I was an altar boy with him. I was an altar boy with Bishop Caillouet. He was even very strict on the altar. He was like, no, catch on, son. Catch on. Yeah, loved him though. He was a great man.
Father, what if you have an issue with the penance that one of your confession priests gives you? Well, Jack, just take your business to another priest and look for a better deal.
I don't think
there you go. There you go.
That's an appeal process. I think the penance is the penance.
I think I would do, if I knew what I knew now, I'd tell the priest, look, I withdraw my sins. I'm taking my business elsewhere. So there you go.
Thanks so much for the call. I mean, hopefully talking about it gets some people, get some people angry enough to move things forward in the right direction.
Yeah, let's go to break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your Weekend Lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
It terrifies me to think that a maniac might turn their full
An 18-year-old civilian as opposed to an 18-year-old soldier
shooting guns at
is a whole totally different thing. I mean, the hypocrisy and the double standard is kind of unreal.
Sidekick saying he understands inequity, continues to rise, but he's been saying that now for months.
The stories.
Okay, boat stuff is the last commercial in this set.
Love to tell my boss I'm not coming in today because gas is just too expensive.
On WWL, the News Talk sports leader.
JT from New Orleans is the next caller up. JT.
If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-555-1509. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-555-1509. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-555-1509. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-555-1509. 800-555-1509.
Her words weren't written under peaceful shade, but under fear for her life.
I don't think of all the misery, but of the beauty that still remains.
The words of Anne Frank continue to fill us with hope. Hope. Pass it on from passiton.com.
Celebrating a century of broadcasting. For 100 years, WWL Radio has been here for you when it matters most. Here's another moment in history.
It was July of 1971.
We are certifying the 26th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States.
President Richard Nixon at the White House.
That amendment, as you know, provides for the right to vote of all of our young people between 18 and 21. 11 million new voters as a result of this amendment that you now will see certified by the GSA administrator.
13 years later, in July of 1984, Congress passed the National Minimum Drinking Age Act, which withheld federal transportation funds from states that didn't raise the drinking age from 18 to 21.
This moment in history brought to you by Galindo Law and People's Health.
Hi, this is John from the Silver Slipper, inviting you to join us at our award-winning Jubilee Buffet any Monday through Thursday for our all-new Shrimp Vegan, where we feature several fabulous shrimp entrees on our buffet line, in addition to our regular lineup. Then on Friday nights and all day Saturday and Sunday, our very popular Crab Feast returns, which has been a favorite here at the Slipper for years. Celebrating 15 years as your friend and neighbor Silver Slipper Casino, we are proud to be your host on the coast.
Have a good time.
Diamonds Direct is making your summer shine with their store-wide summer sale. Get ready. It's July 15th through the 17th. The entire weekend, enjoy extra savings. 20% off Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable prices on a multi-million-dollar selection of rings, earrings, bands, bracelets. Virtually everything's on sale. Plus, top jewelry designers flying in with all new collections. It's the buying opportunity of the season. Extra savings store-wide. Mark your calendar. July 15th through 17th only. And only at Diamonds Direct. Details more at diamondsdirect.com.
No boat shows? No problem. Boat Stuff has over 100 boats on order. Come in today for boat show savings on Boat Stuff. Lots of great things. Boats and Yamaha motors are coming in weekly. Make no waves about it. Get your boat and Yamaha outboard from Boat Stuff. You can slide out or at boatstuff.com.
Connect with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, you weekend lawyers. Albert, when you're talking about being an altar boy, brought back memories. I was an altar boy at St. Angelo.
Oh, yeah.
Two events I remember that was traumatizing. The first one, after the presentation of the gifts. Remember the whites and blacks? You had the black outfit, and then you put the white down over it.
Put the white down, yeah, exactly.
And then, when I was bringing the gifts up back from we were being presented by someone in the congregation. My sleeve got caught to the pulpit, and I dropped the wine in water and broke the glass.
Oh, wow.
Which people were upset because it delayed mass for 10 minutes. And it posed all kinds of complications because new mass, it was 11 o'clock mass, and they had 12:15. They were coming in and they have mass. And then, but the priest said, thank goodness, when you did that. I'm like, gosh, I say, yeah, did y'all have the patent?
We had the patents, yeah. We had to put under people's chin in case it fell out of their mouth.
Well,
yeah.
I had it, and the priest missed. It went in the patent and jumped out the patent, and it hit the ground. And I waited for about 2 seconds waiting for the lightning bolt.
So did you bend down and pick it up?
I panicked. I froze.
I don't know what to do, right? They don't teach you that in Alta Boy school, right?
No, they didn't. They taught me that you're liable to die if that happens.
Right.
Is combustion. And
so Bishop Caluet that he was talking about was very old and probably didn't believe in all of Vatican II. So we were still doing the old-fashioned mass where you would come and go to the kneeler instead of standing up, because they had kneelers all the way across at Holy Rosary's Church. And so we would we'd go to the kneeler, but everything, even though he was quite French, he seemed more Nazi Germany. Everything had to be exactly perfect, and he would jump on you if you didn't. And honestly, what it did too is it gave you a certain degree of respect for the mass, and it was not a place to come and play, and you took your job seriously, right? So anyway, but good old Bishop Caluet. He was great. I loved him, and of course you had to love Father Bob. That was his first Father Bob Masses. That was his first parish coming out of the seminary. Was at Holy Rosary. So he studied under Bishop Caluet, and again, so many years later, married Aaron and me, and I think he's semi-retired now.
He's semi-retired. I would say he's probably done over 5,000 weddings.
I would believe that. The marrying priest.
And also, he told me that when he was young, he played against my dad when he played for the Lenfant Lobsters.
Really?
Yes. He would forget. He told me that prior time he saw me that. It's seared into my mind. Father Bob, if you're listening, thank you, and good. Wish you good health. Let's. We sort of veered into this. We got JT on. We still got JT on the line.
JT's ready to go.
All right, JT. We've been talking about private tomorrow. JT, what you got for us, brother?
So, one, I want to commend you for, because I knew what your show. I usually listen to your show straight off and on, and I'm born and raised in New Orleans, but I want to commend you on just pushing the topic, right? But I would ask that you continue to push the topic. Don't let this just be this weekend's topic of discussion, and then we've moved on to something else. This is what is needed to keep the fire burning, right, and keep the drum beating on certain topics as important as this. But sadly though, we've talked about all these different facets of what it would take to correct this problem that we're having in the city of New Orleans. But let's be honest with ourselves. What is the population of what is probably the voting population you would say of the city of New Orleans? What, 500,000 maybe?
Well, no, right? I think the city.
I think it's less than that now. Yeah.
400,000.
Well, and I don't know if that's the voting population. That's fine. But that's the population. That's not the voting population.
Yeah, voting population is probably
going to be substantially less.
Right. So even if but here's, and my reason for saying that is, we can't even get 50% turnout.
Sure.
Right.
for voting, right? So we get what we pay for, right? All the people who have, screamed and yelled and beaten in the drum, I guarantee that sadly, if we were probably able to poll them and pull their voting record and say, how are you out at the voting poll every time there's a vote? I don't care whether it's for school board, dog catcher, whatever. Are you in the polls voting, right? We always make excuses why we can't make it to the voting poll to pull that lever. Oh, I got this to do. I got that to do. It's raining, whatever. And then we get what we pay for.
Well,
I agree with you. I agree with you.
A lot of blood was spilled so that we could vote. I mean, a lot of people, go to DJ Museum and you look at all the people who sacrificed their lives so that we could vote. And you're exactly right. And that's part of, I usually take about 2 or 3 minutes, just sort of bringing up the issue. But really, the ballot box is where it starts. And, somebody texted me a few minutes ago and said, well, what can we do about the mayor and the DA? Start with the ballot box. That's where it all starts. And what we're trying to do is, hey, you do have some control over this. You do have the ability to have some type of ownership or agency in what kind of city you live in. And I think people are disconnected from that. Now, we're stuck with this mayor for 3 years. We're just stuck with it.
Absolutely.
But
we're not stuck with certain things, right? So we are stuck there, but we're not stuck with the fact that, city council members still have to step over, and so we lay you on them. We still have judges that have term limits, and that's going to probably fall in between these 3 years. If this was the 1900s, I could say, oh, well, you know what, it's easy for people to forget. We live in an age where everything is at the drop of your fingers, and you can look at information at any given time of day. And yet, no, we forget when these judges let zero bond violent offenders out, and they go and commit another violent offense. I mean, we can roll off the top of our head numerous people in the community who have been affected by the repeat offender that was let out on a zero bond, right? Which is sad. You shouldn't be able to just roll off the top of your head multiple events, right?
Should be an hour. Yeah.
Right. But we forget, and when these judges then come back on, for me, I'm tough on crime. Nobody remembers the fact that, hey, this is the same judge that let 3, violent criminals out.
Right? We have a very short retention span. That's for sure.
Now, so I always ask the question as well. Maybe you can address it, and I kind of already know the answer to it, but I like to hear other people say it. Jefferson Parish and New Orleans are a stone throw from each other. You can be in New Orleans and throw a rock and hit Jefferson Parish, right?
Right.
What's the difference between the level of crime that takes place in Jefferson Parish than from New Orleans? And it's not just manpower. It's the community backs the sheriff.
Yes.
That's the reason why Harry Lee was a 30-year sheriff, right? It's because they said, you know what? We're not saying that the sheriff's office is perfect there.
No.
And we're going to say they're going to make mistakes. But we back our sheriff's office. And you know what? We want them to do the job that we appointed them to do.
I will tell you this.
And they went out and did it.
I will tell you this. The difference is Cynthia Lee Shang, who has her priorities correct. And if you put Joe Lopinto in Orleans Parish, I guarantee crime would be reduced by one-half within 1 year. No question about it. He would. I mean,
but Doug, you also need a DA that's going to prosecute those people that the sheriff, and that's another thing we need. We've got a great DA here in Jefferson Parish, and they do a terrific job. All of the assistants, and it's a well-run organization. And their job is to prosecute crime. So it's a big step as well. And then judges, a lot of the judges that are here are that all run on the fact that they're tough on crime, because they know that's a big part of what their voters want. They want to just be able to walk down the street without worrying about getting beat over the head for their necklace or something.
Now, in the meantime, I do know the mayor responds to change. And if the heat is turned up high enough on her, she will respond at some point. The heat just hadn't been turned up. And we have a lot of the TV media that's easy on her, very easy on her. WWL, Newell, and Scoop are trying to hold her accountable. And Tommy, he's got
that's because she's the first, right? I'm not gonna hold back no punches. She's the first, right? She's the first black woman mayor in the city of New Orleans, and so people don't want to, throw stones. They want. I know I don't care about it, but I'm like everybody always wants to handle things with kid gloves.
Not
when it comes down to things.
Not when it comes to a crisis where people are dying. And not crisis where a city is dying. And, it's not about. This drives me up the wall. It's not about your gender. It's not about your race. It's about your competence. It's about your work ethic. It's about your integrity. That's what it's all about. The skin color and the gender does not matter when it comes to this issue. It's about integrity, competence, and willing to roll up your sleeves. You don't get a pass. You don't get a pass if you're first.
Not for this.
And then,
you might get a pass for not getting some initiative done that sounded good. You might get a pass on that.
Feel good symbolic issue. Yeah, okay, not on this. And so, JT, and people are scared to talk about it. That's why I don't care. I don't care if she's the first, last, or in between. I don't care what. People have to get past that in order to solve this problem. That's one of the things that needs to happen. And hold accountability. It's based on integrity, based on competence, and based on hard work. And that's the evaluation you judge the politician on, nothing else. All right, let's go to, thanks for the call, JT. Let's go to a break. That's Sunseri, Albert, Nicaud, your weekend boys. All legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
If you love the Newell Norman Show and want to hear more conservative views like yours, don't miss Red Meat Roundup, a brand new Odyssey podcast that drops every Friday. You'll hear views from across the U.S. about politics, crime, law and order, and more, rounded up in an assortment of the tastiest bits of conservative talk. Red Meat Roundup. Check it out now at WWL.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, folks. Joel Myers, my friends at Best Chevrolet. At Best Chevrolet, they know a Chevy buyer is generally looking for three things. Number one, they want a great price. Two, they want a top-notch service department. And three, Chevy buyers want an enjoyable, no-hassle buying experience. I can tell you, you're going to get all three at Best Chevrolet. On Veterans Boulevard, where Metairie meets Kenner, or at bestchevrolet.com.
Okay, we have three callers on the line right now. We have Bob from Slidell, who has a question about an estate problem. We have Sam from Gretna, who has an insurance problem. And we have John from Metairie, who is in the lawyer business.
Yes,
who's the second
Somebody
one?
has to do something.
Well, that would be Sam from Gretna.
We're going to take Sam first.
It's a free
Okay?
application.
Sam it is.
Every gallon of gas so easily buy. I just earned 25 cents back on every gallon of this tank. Hold on. So the Upside app is free and you actually get cash back every time you use it? No strings attached?
Yep, it's awesome. Check it out. It only takes a couple of minutes to sign up.
Instead of just watching your dollars go into your tank, start putting money back into your wallet with the free app from Upside. With the price of gas today, it's big news and big money. To cash out of your Upside cash, just transfer it to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card. Upside users have already earned over $200 million. Now it's your turn. Download the free Upside app and get cash back on every gallon of gas. Use promo code HUGE for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill up. That's code HUGE. Use code HUGE for an extra 25 cents per gallon back in your first fill up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Discover
You're going live after this one.
with the Odyssey app. From Who Done It to How to Do It, we have the biggest podcast for your favorite genre: true crime, history, entertainment, and more. Getting ready for the midterm elections? No matter what aisle you lean towards, we have a podcast CNN to Fox News to exclusive podcasts from your local station. Find your next binge on the Odyssey app.
Now, more All Things Legal, underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. All advice given and opinions shared are solely those of attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri. Back to WWL.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, Albert lawyers. Switching gears, let's go to Sam and Gretna. Got an insurance question. Hey, Sam, what you have for us, brother?
Hey, Mr. Sunseri, Mr. Nicaud, I apologize to you all, all the callers out there for diverting attention from a way more important problem than insurance. Man-made disaster in the history of our nation. We destroy our city, our people, our culture. But the thugs, absentee parents, their accomplices in the judicial system. I wonder what Sheriff do. Ferguson can't schedule much, but if you put Chief Pinto and Orleans with the same half of police force, same being judicial system, the judicial system is the huge difference in Jefferson and the DA right there. But anyway, on to my insignificant problem. The only reason I interrupt y'all is it's time sensitive on a couple of ways for the 15th of July, all right? Feel like I'm walking the plank. A couple of questions. You help me a lot to start on the phone. Anybody that's being strung along by their insurance, I'm one of the, I'm affiliated with one of the Jim Donelon 7 with 2.5 weeks notice. My insurance company, Southern Fidelity, went belly up, dumping all the claims to LIGA. Who knows how that'll get resolved? Pulling this bankruptcy scam. It's a paper shuffle. They're not bankrupt. They're dumping their claims. Their reserves are going back to the parent company. In the case of Southern Fidelity, that would be Hudson Structured Financial. That's the parent. But anyway, that's how to use the court system to get out of paying liability. My time-sensitive questions are, of course, my situation is going to get dumped to LIGA. I have about 10,000 outstanding that I've been trying to file a supplement with Southern Fidelity for months. Thank God through Eric White and Regional Roofing, I got my roof on. But I still have 10,000 worth of unpaid damages. I'm trying to get a supplement through. Now, it seems like this bankruptcy scam, I want to get my paperwork in the queue. All right, Jim Donelon's buddies don't help me up at LDI. They automatically transfer to the tape recording with LIGA. LIGA doesn't do anything or won't even accept my supplement until they get files from Southern Fidelity, which might take 60 days. Now, if a company's pulling a bankruptcy scam and then the state overseeing or allowing this, in our case here, I don't know what Florida's doing. All right, if you're Southern Fidelity pulling this scam on 42,000 people across 4 states, are you going to be in a rush to get that paperwork? LIGA's not going to get that paperwork in 60 days. I'm not that dumb. How do I get my supplement in the queue? And also, more importantly, is it a waste of time and $250 to file in Jefferson Parish Court against Southern Fidelity before the 15th? Is that wasted $250 or? Because my amount's about 10,000.
Albert? But going through LIGA, and is that a wasted step?
No. So, if your claim is below $20,000, excuse me, you're in Jefferson Parish, you can file suit in First Parish Court and get it served. Now, what there's going to happen is there's going to be a stay until those claims are reassigned to LIGA, and then LIGA will assign an attorney to handle the claim. I can tell you, a lot of attorneys have told me that, you know, if it's an issue of a roof, whether we didn't pay for the whole thing, we paid for half, they're advising their clients to just go ahead and pay it. It's going to cost them so much more money to defend it. The files are going to be open for a lot longer. And so if it's a $10,000, you know, you may be able to get somewhere if you get a live body, i.e. an attorney, a defense attorney, to take a look at it and say, look, this is, you know, this is something we can probably dispose of quickly and not have to spend a bunch of money on attorneys. I do know that most of the big companies that have in-house attorneys typically do not want to refer hurricane claims to their in-house attorneys because more often than not, bad faith has been alleged. And so they don't want to be accused of bad faith and then turn it over to an employee who is an attorney to handle. And so they used to refer those out, which means it costs them money every time, you know, there's some paper sent their way or some discovery, or they got to take a deposition. And, you know, it's a numbers game for them. And at some point they'll just say, you know what, here, we're going to pay you 75% of your claim to go away and, you know, not have to fight you. And who knows, you hold out, they may pay even more. So I don't think it's a bad idea. I do know that there will be a stay and the court will not prosecute it pending the reorganization. And so,
but that would have to be done before the 15th when they officially dump everybody.
Yeah, I would go ahead and sue Liga.
Yeah, when the light
okay,
clicks
so I'll
on,
have more time with that then.
Yes. Oh yeah.
With Liga. Oh, okay. Yeah. Because the problem with Friday is I got to come up with replacement insurance by Friday. So I certainly don't have $250 for second parish court. You know. Also to follow up, a lot of insurance agents, being overwhelmed and lazy, are trying to divert people to Citizens. By state law, there's a nice golden nugget for Donlan's buddies from the legislature. By state law, Citizens is required to assess a higher premium than the highest market rates out there. So it's not like you're rolling the dice with discount insurance. You will pay the highest rates. In 2021, Citizens' number of complaints to LDI, 4,461. My Southern Fidelity, backed by or owned by a financial services company, which despite the stock market is not struggling, the financials are doing well in the market, probably the only level in the market that's still sustaining. Well, their number of complaints in 2021 was 1,031. Now you figure their complaints are going to start kicking in September or October. So that's about 3 months of complaints in 2021. They don't have the numbers for 2022, obviously. So everybody, get a real insurance company. You'll pay more, and guess what?
Here's the problem.
By Citizens, the lawyer will cost you more than the higher premium. Get a real insurance company. Everybody.
Here's the problem with that. And I have talked to a number of insurance agents, and one, Greg Masson with Martin Insurance Agency. He's been on the phone on the program a couple of times, and I asked him if he wanted to talk about this topic, and he said, Albert, you know what? There is not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot of information that that we can give you. He said, Citizens is it. I can't get anyone to write a policy. They will not write. Nobody wants to write here. He said, you know, somebody had State Farm, and they had State Farm for their for their homes, and they tried to get it for a rental property that they had because they switched and State Farm. He was saying, look, we're already a customer. They said, sorry, we're not writing any new business, and it's pretty much across the board. And you know, from an insurance company standpoint, they got hit pretty hard these last couple of years. I mean, we had 7 storms in a row go bang, 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 bang. So it's been a tough situation, and yeah, unfortunately.
All right. Sam, thanks for the call. We got to go to a hard break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back for our last segment, short segment, after this brief timeout.
WWL is proudly sponsored by Dudley DeBosier Injury Lawyers. Call 504-444-4444. Non-attorney spokesperson, Chad Dudley, New Orleans.
Bobby Hebert, KJ Cannon here. Look, this baseball season turned K's into cash and big hits.
Looks like about a little over 3 minutes, top of the hour end of the show.
Up to the plate with a no sweat first bet up to $1,000. Just sign up using the promo code Hebert, place your first bet, and FanDuel will give you up to $1,000 back in free bets if you don't win. What I love about
you want to take a call in that short time, or should I dump them?
Every day, it's a safe and secure app, and you get paid fast. There's no better place to bet America's pastime than America's #1 sportsbook. Not number 2 or 3, but #1. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Just use the promo code Hebert. That's HEBERT to get started with your no sweat first bet up to $1,000. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of WWL Radio.
21 plus and present in Louisiana. Permitted parishes only. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
Now you can enjoy MLB Play, the one app with all your favorite free MLB games. Enjoy Beat the Streak, Quick Pick, and more. Enjoy competing against friends. Enjoy unlocking exclusive rewards. Plus, your chance to win $5.6 million. Download MLB Play. Enjoy the app. Enjoy the show. MLB Play. No purchase necessary. Must be 21 or older to enter Beat the Streak, which ends at the conclusion of the MLB regular season or when the grand prize is won. Restrictions apply. See MLB.com/play for official rules.
Join John Hagenson of Creative Planning for Rethink Your Money every Saturday at 8 a.m. to make sure you're not overlooking anything in your retirement plan. That's Rethink Your Money with John Hagenson of Creative Planning. Saturday morning at 8. Creative Planning is a registered investment advisory firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I'm still mad at timeshare companies. For over a decade, I've been fighting to clean up the timeshare industry by getting folks out of bad timeshares. But after all those battles, I'm still asked, how do they sell timeshares
I'm here.
for $5,000 when they're available online?
About 3 minutes.
Only $1. Here's how they do it. They lie. They tell you things like,
make that 4 minutes.
you can go anywhere, anytime, or your maintenance fees will never
You want to take
go
another
up.
call, or you just want to close it out?
To get you to sign a timeshare agreement is part of a well-planned trap. If you've ever been held hostage at a timeshare presentation
Okay, I will.
and bought, Wesley Financial Group is here to help. To date, we've canceled timeshares for over 30,000 families. And I guarantee you this, we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare cancellation guide. 800-660-1771. That's 800-660-1771. 800-660-1771.
Some people bring joy wherever they go, some whenever they go. Mark Twain found humor all around. Never argue with a fool. Onlookers may not be able to tell the difference. Humor. Pass It On from PassItOn.com.
All things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on WWL and Odyssey Station. Connect now on the Oak Winhart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. Got a couple of minutes. Got to go quick to Bob. He's got an estate question. Hey, what you got for us, Bob?
Thank you. My father passed away at the beginning of the year, left me and my 2 siblings his house as inheritance. And one of the siblings is the executor, is in no hurry, has no interest in selling the house. It's empty. Nobody lives in it.
Oh, he's not. Okay, gotcha.
Nobody, no, it's empty. Is not. Isn't there paperwork or is there something I can do? Because I was told you cannot be forced into property ownership through inheritance.
Well, what you can do is, as an interested party, you can petition the court to have the property sold and have the court instruct the executor to sell it. So you do have, as an interested party, you could do that.
So, all right.
None of the children want the house?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And have you talked to your brother about why he's not interested in putting it up for sale now? I mean, it makes sense while the interest is still a little low.
Absolutely. Having personal issues, I guess.
Yeah.
Just
the short
number of reasons.
The short version is this: is you could file a motion to remove them, or in the alternative, have the property sold. Because the judges have an interest in liquidating property. They know when property is just sitting there from an estate, it's accumulating insurance, it's accumulating taxes. It's also subject to, if it's empty, to to wear and vandalism or further
Insurance
hurricane.
issues too.
Yeah. And so the judges, are very receptive, and they'll ask the executor, why haven't you put this property for sale if you don't want to buy it? And a lot of times they'll do in those situations. You have a motion, they'll say you got 60 days to put this, or 30 days to put it up for sale, or the judge may even order it to be put up for sale and appoint a real estate agent, and or he could say, if you don't do this within a certain time period, I'm going to pull you off the executor and get someone else on there. So you have remedies.
Do I go to a parish court?
No, you'd probably have to engage an attorney to do that, but I think it would be, it'd probably be a worthy endeavor, because you would be able to file that motion and probably have it heard within a month or two, and it'll and the judge would probably put it up on the market for sale.
Okay.
For the end result.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
Yeah. If you're an interested party and you disagree with what an executor is doing in your estate and you're an heir, you can go before the court and ask the court to instruct the executor to appropriately administer the assets in the estate, or if they're taking their time or dragging their feet. So you have that. Right. All right, Albert, we've got about a minute to go. Any parting shots?
No, I'm going to watch a little Wimbledon. It's the finals today, and I'm just going to see, check out the last one. There's the guy from Australia. He's I think, I don't know, like the 20th seed or something, and he's playing in the finals. It's his first major, and so and he's playing against Djokovic, so he's number one. So I'll always pull for the underdog in the upset.
Yeah, Djokovic may be the best ever. I do miss the Borg and McEnroe and the days of Connors, but
right.
There you go. All right, well, y'all have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week on All Things Legal. Be good, be blessed, and we'll see you next week.